Hey, what's up, guys? This is Brian at Brian's Tech Therapy. Thank you so much for joining me. This is a video that I have waited to bring you for over a year. It is the successor to my favorite display of all time, the best looking display I've ever seen in person. Today's video is on the LG Z2 88-inch 8K Signature Series OLED, the successor to last year's amazing ZX, which is behind me, which was carried over, and the successor to the very first 8K OLED, the LG Z9. Once I had filmed the Z9 a number of years ago, it made me believe that 8K could be and was necessary. I saw that big a difference in its detail. It was an absolute monster. They improved it with the ZX, and today you will see the Z2. Behind me, you're looking at a video that I shot at Value Electronics last year, and you are looking at the winners of last year's shootout, the A90J Master Series versus the LG ZX. I predicted the LG ZX would win the overall. We didn't do an overall. We had a 4K winner and an 8K winner. Hopefully this year we'll have an overall winner, but I predicted the ZX would win. I predict that the Z2 will win the overall shootout this year, at least the 8K. I don't know. There's a lot of tough competition out there this year, but the Z2 is amazing. We will do a unboxing, a setup, some demo material. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy the LG Z2.
I've seen things most people wouldn't believe.
All right, guys, here we are in the gallery portion of Value Electronics in Scarsdale, New York. We will be using Value Electronics professional technicians for this unboxing, assembly, and wall mounting. These guys do amazing work, very clean, very efficient. We needed them for this high-end, amazing display today. It comes in two pieces, as you saw in the intro. You have the base and the display. There is the back of the Z2 there. There is the front. And as we begin to show the pedestal here, special thank you to Mr. Robert and Wendy Zahn of Value Electronics for the opportunity to film something as grand as the LG Z2. Please consider making your next AV purchase through them. Check the description below for all of their information, as well as a link to their website where you can download a PDF on the Z2 and any of the other technology and equipment that they have. Please let them know that I sent you. I'll put specs up throughout the video. There's the base. You're going to hear high-end, high quality. Everything is premium. You can see there where the panel sits on top, very much like the ZX and the Z9 before it. However, this here, it can be wall mounted. The 77-inch does come with a bracket or wall mount. The 88-inch does not. Here, as we flip it to the side, you can see the cables there. They'll be removing the power supply below as I show you what comes in the box. Now, the power supply will be tucked behind the panel. The 88-inch may have a wall mount included. We have this early. Robert has this panel very early, so we're not sure if it comes with it or not. I do know the 77-inch does come with the wall mount. You have all the usual suspects in the box. It is just presented very nicely in this welcome box. And as I show you the remote is very high-end, very premium. It's heavy, it's tangible, it's metal. There is a key that actually opens the battery compartment. I imagine due to the weight in case the batteries fall out, but it is very high-end, beautiful. I am actually going to try and get one for my panel at home. As we look at the back of the Z2, as now we have it face down, you are kind of realizing how much larger the 88-inch is. You can see the connections. I'll also put on the screen the specs. The 88-inch has all HDMIs to the side. The 77-inch has a couple of them facing down. I prefer it this way, easy to connect to. We'll put the specs up now. And as we move on, you'll see the panel now is face down. The brackets are on it. Again, these are the brackets from Value Electronics, not the LG brackets. The power supply is sitting behind it. Now, I'm sure it's more than a power supply. I'm sure some of the sound, whether it's an amp, is there as well. I'll put the audio specs towards the end of the video for the audio portion. Now we have it here on the wall. These guys, again, do tremendous work. Lifting it with the power supply attached to it was very heavy. You can see the power supply is there, but it looks fantastic. As we run through the setup is the same as the rest of LG's lineup. And you can see Robert is sitting down there, and we'll begin admiring the image. Now, the challenge with filming today is, again, we are on the back wall. It is very bright. It is in the middle of the day. So you will see pretty heavy reflections on it, but you can tell right from the very start up, it is absolutely stunning. It looks 3D. It is jumping off the screen. Now, you won't see 8K content today, but I can confirm that right out of the box, you can play 8K YouTube. However, those demos are copywritten. I don't have any native 8K footage to show you, though I am working on getting it on a stick to put in the back of the panel so we can run it and then play it for you guys until your heart's content. But it looks incredible. It has a very warm, rich look to it. That's what set the ZX apart from everything else. Whether it's a wider color gamut, it just seems to have a richer look than anything else, color-wise. This year we'll have measurements of its coverage, but it just pops. Again, it just has that three-dimensional look to it. Now, this is just a quick first impressions. I will be following up with a more thorough through the settings, through the presets. Again, bright day, and it's still plenty bright. It seems so much brighter than the other parts of LG's lineup. The plastic is also still on the screen. Had to leave it on for this very first day, so the reflections are not as bad as you're seeing here. In a few moments, I also close the drapes behind. But the saturation, the richness of color, the detail. You cannot beat the off-angle viewing of OLED. Nothing can compare to it. We've seen all of these demos many times, and this is the best I've ever seen them look. And again, very thin, very elegant. That's what I love about OLEDs of all kinds, is they just seem to float there. As you move into some SDR footage here, no changes in brightness. It doesn't dim down at all. Looks fantastic. It does ship in the standard preset, which we are now out of. And I believe we're in ISF bright mode here now for the rest of the video. Again, here we're looking at SDR. Now, I mentioned in the beginning of the video about 8K and 8K content, things of that nature. We all know there isn't much 8K content out there, if any. However, that will change this fall with gaming, especially with the new GPUs releasing from both NVIDIA and AMD. And we will see some native 8K gaming. And hopefully we'll see more footage, whether it's streamed or however, but I look forward to seeing actual 8K footage. Typically, LG will also have demo material built into the panel, but due to time constraints, I wasn't able to locate that again, but I will be returning to follow up this video. You will see Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5 on it, but it looks absolutely amazing. It also sounds incredible. At the 17-minute mark, you will see Jennifer Gala in the HCR Super Channels footage, where you'll be able to hear the audio. Now, granted, it looks more saturated than it does in person simply because of how bright it is in this room. And the camera at times will blow out the highlights. But through the other presets, there's almost nothing to do with the settings, just jumping in and out of them. It looks great no matter what preset it's in. Now, here at times, oh, you guys like everything you film. Well, guys, the only things I'm bringing to you are very high quality in terms of panels that I'm seeing. The Z2, now my favorite 8K panel. Favorite panel was the ZX, as I mentioned very early. It's the best panel I have ever seen. The Z2, I have to sit with it more and spend more time with it, but it is mind-blowing. Now, how did it look in 8K? I can't show it to you, obviously, again, due to copyright, but very crisp, very clean, and right up to it. It does feel very bright. It does feel brighter than the other OLEDs. Now, that could be simply because it's larger. The ZX, I'm not sure we measured the peak brightness for the ZX, but the ZX also felt brighter. We had to go against the A90J Master Series. But the image is absolutely stunning. Now, it is a dream display of mine, not something I would ever be able to tangibly or practically own, but it is something that you can really admire. Now, we will also see the G2. I believe that'll be 98 inches or 97 inches in a few weeks. But the Z2 will be in the shootout against the Sony Master Series Z9K Mini LED, as well as the Q900B Mini LED from Samsung. The competition is rough this year, as the Z9K is phenomenal. I have not yet seen the 900B in person, but I cannot wait for that matchup. And I do hope we do an overall, because we'll be comparing this amazing panel to QD OLEDs. I cannot wait to see how that shakes out, because this does feel like it has a rich image, like it has more color. And when these new GPUs release, I will have a smaller PC that I'll be able to bring with me to the location. So you'll see PC gaming in the future and see how these 8K panels do in our studio. So we'll have much more coverage even after the Value Electronics shootout wraps up. We'll be following up with all of these panels. And again, special thank you to Jennifer Gala and the HCR Super Channel for all of her amazing content. And I waited a year to see this panel. This is the one that I couldn't wait for out of all the panels out there. But when you tell people your favorite panel is the ZX, they look at you like, well, that's a dream panel. Absolutely. Displays have gotten so close and so beautiful. Everything looks excellent. Now, this demo that Jennifer has here, typically this can actually look not as saturated, but here it still does. It still looks incredible. And this year we'll have the opportunity after the shootout to be able to compare the Z2 to the Samsung S95, to the A95K. We'll be doing more of those matchups in store so you can see them in the studio. But as I mentioned earlier, the first 8K panel that I saw and felt like I really had to have it was the Z9. It is an 8K OLED. And just something about that combination of OLED technology and resolution. You're not worrying about blooming or light control. It's the contrast and the resolution together. Makes all the difference. And as I mentioned, I will try to get my hands on native 8K footage for you guys. Get it downloaded, get it on a USB, and get it in there. And we'll get it filmed in 8K. Now, before I get out of here, let me know what you think in the comments. I know many of you are very sour on 8K. I am as well, but we're looking at the best panels and lineups now that are 8K. So I don't really look at it so much as an 8K panel as the best OLED out there. What are your thoughts on it? What do you think? As we move into Jennifer's content here, we are seeing live action versus demo material. Again, 3D, lifelike, saturated but natural. Effortless. No touching the settings, no changing anything, and it looks amazing. As we move into Jennifer's end part of the content where you can hear how good the panel sounds, turn your volume up a little bit. Sorry, you're going to hear some cracking of the tripod and some ambient noise, but it does sound very good. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. The last minute or so will be Jennifer's audio demo. Love you guys. Thank you so much. Let me know what you think in the comments. And again, special thank you to Robert Zone. And let me know who you think will win the 4K and 8K shootout this year. My money is on the LG Z2 at 88 inches. God, it looks amazing. All right, guys. Take care. Love you guys.